Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of, the first edition of NXT Then, Now, Forever. I want to apologize to the people out there. Last week, I had a bunch of audio technical difficulties. I had some audio technical difficulties today. Got them straightened out. But with us, we have Jeremy Donovan of Social Suplex fame, of Keepin It Strong Style fame, of Suplex Mania fame. Any other fame you have, Jeremy?
John Juris fame.
Yes, John Juris. I forgot about that. I'm sorry. 1,000 apologies.
That's all good.
Okay. So, just to give a recap to people, we're just going to run through and review NXT from this week 5 years ago, and then we're going to review this week's NXT. I learned a lot of lessons from all this stuff with Caleb in the Lost initial episode, and also with Rich on the makeup edition that we did over the weekend. We're just going to run through this thing. I'm not going to do all the moves. We'll be here forever. If you want to watch all the moves, watch the show. So, here we go.
I am so sorry, Emma. I mean, I hate losing. You must be devastated. And to lose twice? You have my number, though, right? Call me if you need a shoulder to cry on. If you want to have, just a girl's lunch. I'm here for you if you need me.
NXT number 211 from March 6, 2014. We get a video recap of NXT Arrival and includes an off-air promo with Cena congratulating Neville and says that one day he'll see him in the ring. Come to find out, they had one match and one match only. It was from a Raw in 2015. I think it was like May, and Neville actually won by DQ.
Was it a U.S. Open Challenge?
Yes, it was. It was. And because it's around that time, I believe that he got the DQ because Kevin Owens probably cheated and helped him. Or beat him down. So anyway, after that recap, out comes Neville, and we end up getting Adrian Neville versus Camacho.
Yes. Better known now as Tangaloa, one half of the Gorillas of Destiny.
One half of the current IWGP Heavyweight Tag Champions. I saw him come out and I just could not believe it. And whatever. Long story short, Neville like a jerk insists that they shake hands. Camacho doesn't want no parts of it. He kicks him in the gut. Neville quickly recovers off the ropes and hits a springboard crossbody. Camacho starts lighting him up with some chops. Neville fires back with punch kicks and a shotgun drop kick from off the second rope, and then hits the Red Arrow for the win. Nice little match. Yeah. What do you think of Camacho back then compared to now, Jeremy?
I would say I think he's better now than he was back then. I feel like he was just kind of one of those dudes in the Performance Center that that they claim that they're teaching all this stuff to, but they really weren't getting better. I mean, he was a guy that was called up to SmackDown with Hunico, and did the whole Mexican gang gimmick, and
I remember thinking at the time, like, his whole gimmick is that he's a cholo or vato. That's it. He's essay. That's it. Like, he could have been like, obviously this is WWE, so there's no continuity crossover with WCW. But he said like, oh yeah, like that's Conan's like little nephew. You'd be like, oh okay, that's K-Dog's little nephew. All right, gotcha. Like it was just they did the bare minimum with them dudes.
Yeah, I felt like they were trying to do like a knockoff, like almost like an LAX kind of thing. from TNA, but yeah, just kind of fell flat. And eventually, he got back down to NXT. Hunico became the new Sin Cara, and so he was just kind of stuck in NXT. And yeah, I mean, you can see this match was like pretty much like a basic like performance center match. Like Camacho did the very basic holds and moves, got a little heat on Neville, and then Neville came back, put that boy away, and it was over.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, I completely forgot that he was even in that era with them. But yeah, just move on from there.
But dude, real quick, did you notice how like quiet the crowd was during this match?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like I believe that these tapings were done like right after, like on the same night as Arrival. Like Arrival aired, and then they come out afterward and do more stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because the way they did this stuff, like that's the only explanation for it. And then you look in the crowd and you see like Mojo Rawley's parents who were in last week's or Arrival. That whole section that I guess the hype section.
Yeah.
Like they were also there. Like I don't think they stayed for a week.
Gotcha. I thought they filmed it the next day.
Maybe that's what it was too.
Gotcha.
But maybe that's what it was. But I don't know. I decided to wear that out there again. It's bad enough that you out there wearing it the first time. Like look, I have done the whole rap thing, or not me personally. Like I've done the whole rap label thing. Rich has done the rap thing. He's still doing the rap thing. I've had family members, I have friends that have done rapping, do the rapping. I've worn plenty of stuff that I did, like, oh, what's that? And like, yeah, it's a rap thing. Like, so, but at least the people that I was friends with, like, they're actually good rappers. Mojo Rawley, as far as like the wrestling, I don't know.
Yeah, they're proud of their baby boy.
I guess so. So anyway, from there after the match, Neville continues. Neville gets a post-match interview with Renee, and she asks him, "How do you describe last week?" And he says, "Indescribable. He's been doing this for 10 years, and last week was the most amazing night of his life." He says that the title is validation and a message to everyone that anything is possible. And then he does the, like, this had to be, like, wrote with the mind of, like, if Vince McMahon sees this guy. So he says, "Look at me. I'm not your prototypical champion. I'm not the biggest guy. And let's be honest, I look like some crazy elf man. I'm from a small town in northeastern England that no one's ever heard of. And the accent. Be honest, Renee, can you understand what I'm saying?" And then Renee lays in a cute little kinda, and then he goes on and says, sometimes I don't even know what I'm saying either. And then he goes on to say, however, if you can question how I look and how I talk, but you can't question what I do in this ring because of this NXT title is proof that I am the best in this ring. And he says that he says the best thing that he could do, that he did last week, was to make sure that there was no more Bo. And then the crowd pops and chants, "No more Bo, no more Bo." Then Bo comes out. He congratulates him on winning the title, but says that you won a ladder match. You didn't pin me, and I'm going to get my rematch. He actually says specifically, "I'm going to cash in my rematch, and I'm going to bring the title back to my Bo Leavers." And then he says it's Bo time. Whatever the fuck that means. Yeah, so then we go backstage. We get a quick interview with Emma. Renee asking her about what's on her mind after she lost. She says that, Paige is a talented champion, and she's got some respect from Paige, and now they're even friends. And then all of a sudden, who walks up? Woo! Richard Fleer. Richard Fleer this week. So Flair ends up congratulating Emma for the match, and then immediately belittles her and Paige, and then puts over Charlotte as the next NXT Women's Champion. Narration note: he was right.
Yes.
So
Flair had the vision.
Yes. Yeah. So then then Charlotte walks in looking like a towering 6-foot Amazon, arms just jacked, looking like the future, literally. So, and that's also true. So then she says, she ends up playing this great Hollywood mean girl act, like just telling Emma, like, she doesn't know how it feels to lose, let alone lose twice, and asks Emma if you have my number right, just give me a call and we can go get lunch. It's just the best. So then Emma walks off pissed, and then Rick and Charlotte laugh at each other, just successful after playing mind games. Then commentary tells us that this week we're going to get Emma versus Charlotte because that was a promo after last week's arrival. Then we get a WrestleMania 30 commercial. We get a Paige interview, and she says that she knew she was going to win, but Emma gave her a hell of a fight, and she respects her, and now they're friends. And she welcomes all challengers, and then guess who else walks in now this time, Jeremy?
Richard Flair.
Yes. He compliments Paige by saying that she has come light years and is, by his estimation, awesome. A great champion. Then says that Paige has Charlotte to look forward to as the next champion, or the future. And then in walks Charlotte. They go face to face, and says that Paige title days are numbered. Then we get a shot of commentary, and it's a 4-person team.
Yeah, you had Regal, Renee Young, Byron Saxton, and Tom Phillips.
Yes. And my notes I wrote down Youth Minister Tom Phillips, and and I said Renee Young before they stole pieces of her soul.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, real quick before we go on, back on the Flair and Charlotte, like after seeing those two promos, it made me just really miss like Flair being her manager on screen. And I'm thinking of like how great like he would be being her manager like right now of her like being a heel again.
Well, yeah, at this point it would be just awesome. It would almost be like well, I won't say to this extent, but it'd be kind of the same thing as when like you had Owens and Jericho together, or you had CM Punk and Heyman together, or you had like Mr. Perfect and back in the day Heenan together. When you have a heel that can deliver an excellent heel performance on the mic, and then just to put more heat on top of heat, you also have like a heater that doesn't wrestle as well. So because Charlotte at this point, like her promo game is there. Like you look at what she did in on this to now, and she's light years beyond it as a heel. Before, she was just like, she knows what to do roughly because like she's watched wrestling for a while because of her dad, and her dad was mostly a career heel, but it wasn't really how she tapped into it her own way. Now it's like all of the overacting and like on purpose, and then like it's just so evil and annoying. Like she's so good at being annoying. So they do the Emma match. The first thing I see is Sasha Banks with brown hair, and I just like, oh my god, I totally forgot about like that year, 6 months when she didn't have colored hair like crazy. Yeah.
We also had when Emma made her entrance, he had William Regal doing the Emma dance out there for the commentary table.
That's his gimmick now because he did that at a rival, and then Renee joined in because she knows that McMahon's love them some dancing.
Yeah.
So
I gotta say, man, the goofy Emma gimmick was pretty over in Full Sail here. Like the crowd came alive when she came out there.
It was totally over, and you watch that match the week before on Arrival, and you're like, okay. And it just died 1,000 deaths on the main roster. Like, she came up DOA. They didn't even try to like give her any credibility as with wins, or try to put her in an angle with somebody that has a name or anything. They just like, oh, she's out here and she'll just wrestle.
Yeah.
Like, when will she actually like get her? When are you going to position her to actually transition and like be a part of the show? Never. Yeah. She just out here to wrestle and do the dance.
And blow bubbles.
Yeah. And then they looked up and was like, you know what? She's actually kind of like hot. Let's try to do something with it. And by that point, it was like too late.
Yeah.
And she was out there stealing, so. So anyway, match starts. You get loud Emma chants. The crowd then chants Sasha's rashes because she's black and they're racist. Emma gets control with a hammerlock. The crowd chants better than Batista because they hate Batista at the time because of the Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30 thing. Charlotte gets shot into the corner and then tries to go up and over Emma, but falls to the manhole on her ankle. Emma goes for a quick cover, doesn't get it. Sasha goes up to the apron to check on Charlotte and ends up distracting the ref and Emma. So Charlotte nips up and hits her finish and natural selection for the win. Just come straight into the game. You're definitely Ric Flair's daughter.
Dude. Yeah, they were playing heavy on the Flair relationship. Call her the dirtiest diva in the game. Like you mentioned, she sells the fake ankle injury. Pops into natural selection, makes Emma look a geek, and just gets her out of there.
Yeah, so you go backstage, you get a Sami Zayn interview, and he says absolutely nothing. We go backstage, and we see Corey Graves somewhere by like somewhere in some hallway. And we come back, we end up getting Yoshitatsu versus Corey Graves. Graves cuts his promo about Sami Zayn being undeserving of his rematch with Cesaro, says he's injury prone and never beats anyone. Then Graves says that he would beat Cesaro if given the opportunity. So, and on the way, he ended up throwing some shots at Yoshitatsu too. Match starts, Graves immediately rolls out the ring and fakes like he's going to take the count out. Comes back like he thinks second of it, and then he thinks a third time I'm about to roll out. Yoshi, dumbass, goes after Graves. Graves suckers him in, clotheslines him to the ground, pulls him up, throws him to the steel steps, and rolls to the ring and takes a count out victory.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes, Tatsu fell for the bait like a geek.
Yes. Total, like, okay, so you know how on the LOP show we have a LeBron James U-Bum of the week, right?
Yeah.
So, since this is a developmental brand, I suggest that I'm going to make a depending on the year, every year it'll change. The top prospect in the NBA or in college or whatever, we will use him as a stand-in for the current day NXT U-Bum of the week. But this is the retro show. This is 5 years ago. I got to answer for that. I know who was the top prospect back then. It was Karl Anthony Towns. So until the next draft class passes over, Yoshitatsu, you are the Karl Anthony Towns U-Bum of the week for this.
Yeah, also I wrote down, I remember how much I hated his music. It was just like this din, 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 din. I was like, oh my gosh, it's horrible.
Oh, you talking about Yoshi?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the stereotypically Japanese, like, okay, so what are the percent chances that Vince McMahon doesn't call Yoshitatsu a Japanese? Or Shinsuke Nakamura a Japanese? Not Japanese, a Japanese.
Yeah.
5%? Lower? Higher?
A lot. Very high. I'm sure he does.
Oh.
We need that Japanese on the roster, pal.
Or is he like somebody that we know that I'm not going to divulge names?
Call them Oriental.
Yes. That's exactly where I was going. Moving on. So, we get a exclusive with this phenomenon known as Adam Rose, dude. It was at this moment where I realized the Charlotte nip up spot. Adam Rose's debut. Oh my God! I actually watched this episode of NXT before.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
So, I forgot who it was. I don't think it was Renee. Whoever they go to a club to go find Adam Rose. All of a sudden, you see this giant hulking bodyguard. It's motherfucking Braun
Strowman. And if you pay attention to, there's some other people in there. They had Alexa Bliss was
sitting next to him. Yes.
Yeah, they had Kalisto out there, just like
as a male stripper, like literally like a cage dancer. He's a cage dancer.
Yeah,
except there was no cage.
They had Elias out there.
I didn't see Elias.
Yeah, Elias was in there. Becky Lynch, Simon Gotch.
Becky Lynch. I saw Simon Gotch. Becky Lynch is in there.
Yeah.
Damn.
I seen the red hair. I was like, damn.
Oh man. Yeah, and he's doing this whole thing of don't be a lemon, be a rosebud, and his whole thing, he's basically a rock star. So, they go to commercial and they say they'll come back for that. Maybe they do. Yeah, they do. We end up getting a recap of Rusev whooping that ass on Xavier Woods and Tyler Breeze last week during Arrival. Xavier Woods says, next week I want a match with you. Rusev gets an interview. He says he accepts. So I already know what's going to happen to him. He's going to get that ass whooped.
Yep. Get these hands.
Yeah, so out comes Adam Rose. Adam Rose has a match with Blake.
Yeah,
what's Blake's first name again?
Wesley Blake.
Did you say Rusty Blake?
Wesley
Blake. See, that's why he's forgotten son. I can't remember his name for shit. You just told me I couldn't remember. Yeah, typical squash match. He does goofy, silly comedy stuff. The crowd's popping off of it. Blake is looks like a full jag. He ends up hitting him with a clothesline for the finish, and it wasn't a clothesline for Hill. He hit that man with a normal ass clothesline and pinned him.
Yeah, dude, but his entrance got over on night one.
Yes,
this is awesome chance.
Yes,
from his entrance.
Yes, I remember watching this because Rich was like, bruh, you gotta watch the next week's episode after Arrival because they brought this dude out. He has his crazy entrance. They made him a star on the first night. And I was like, okay, I'll believe it if you want to see it. I watched it and I was like, yeah, bro, that's it. That is it. And never will be so wrong.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, dude, I thought this man was going to be a star.
Yes.
Dude, the huge pop for his entrance. The crowd was totally into the gimmick. He was out there. Yeah, he was doing like the Yano.
I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Dude, yeah, I was a Rosebud back then, man. I was like, yeah, dude, this Adam Rose guy, he's gonna go somewhere.
Yeah,
now
he went
to the unemployment line. That's where he went to.
Yeah, I mean, like I think the last I heard about him was when he thanked WWE for the times that they paid for his rehab or whatever. That's probably like a month or two ago. So I think they were like pictures of him and like he had put some weight back on. Like he's actually looks pretty good right now. But that's kind of the last thing I've ever heard from him. Yeah. So after this match, we end up getting the main event. Do you have notes on the main event?
Yeah, so it was made by General Manager
JBL. Yes.
The perfect person you want in the hand of the future of your business.
I mean, keep in mind, you look at the overall history of NXT, like they even had Michael Cole when he was doing the heel Cole thing or whatever all those years ago when he was out here like the worst of his tenure, right? The worst of his illustrious tenure in WWE. So, I mean, it's been in worse hands. I think I wonder, was Regal the third GM or was there someone between like all of that too?
No, I think Regal came immediately after JBL.
Right, but was there somebody between JBL and Michael Cole though?
If there was, I don't remember.
My God, I hope not. Like, who could have been behind? Like, I don't know. Who could have possibly have been? Whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's Corey Graves versus Sami Zayn. You know, obviously, Sami told Corey earlier in the night, like, if you want a match, we can do this right here. So JBL makes a match, and we have Graves versus Sami Zayn. Pretty much most of the match, Graves was working over Sami's leg that was hurt from the Arrival match with Cesaro. And I wrote in my note, I was like, Sami's leg doesn't seem to hurt that much because Graves works his leg the whole match, yet Sami is literally running and jumping and diving and flipping all over the place without selling the leg at all. It started off as a basic PC match, but it picked up towards the end. Zayn ended up catching Graves with a roll-up. Graves is going for like a Death Valley driver, and Zayn rolls him up and gets the win.
Yeah, I saw that, and then I thought to myself about all of the great times on the main roster where Sami Zayn has sold injuries, and I thought, like, that had to be a directive, don't sell. There's no other explanation for that. because you go watch the Cesaro match, he's selling his leg throughout the entire match. He's getting dragon screw legged whipped and knee cranked and stretch mufflered and single leg crabs and all that kind of stuff, and he's great. And then you also see him, Kevin Owens match in Battleground 2016 selling the shoulder after that botch or whatever. There's no way that he would have done that unless they told him.
I'm wondering if it was a case where like there wasn't communication between the agents and the commentators. Like the commentators got like one story, like Zayn's going to be selling the leg, and then the agent was like, just have a regular match and don't worry about it.
That could be it, but I mean, if that's the case, then you need to just what do they do? Like sometimes when like Morrow or whoever else has to do it from remote or whatever, they basically add in the commentary post production. Well, they do that then to save it, because that was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they didn't care enough back then about it, and they were like, whatever. People are not gonna make a big deal.
Yeah, and I mean it was. It was an okay show. It's 1 hour. I mean, they were doing a lot of table setting with, like, introducing Charlotte as basically, like, the third woman of the division for people that just came in from the network era. The Rusev thing, like, he's out of the door pretty soon. But he's wrapping up. But they pretty much treated it like the top two stars on this show, or on this brand, are Sami Zayn, Neville, and... What are we, like 6 months away? More than that? Yeah, 6 months away from the Collision Course. So, I think they're doing a good job on that front.
What'd you think about Corey Graves?
He looks like a fake tough guy. Just has tattoos. He's a much better promo now than he ever was then, or a talker. It's not a promo necessarily, but like the pausing is kind of like unnatural. Like, you can't pause like that in front of a WWE crowd if they don't like you, because you'll get wadded out the building and then you'll have to go into crowd control mode. Graves, he's done a few over there, like when he's doing the stuff with Angle 2 years ago. Like, he's far more polished as a talker in front of live audiences now. Maybe it was a situation where smaller crowd, so you'd have to worry about it. I don't know. But I think he's a lot better. I feel like he's a better actor too. But I don't know if that's because he's not actually trying to play a tough guy. He's playing a tough looking guy because of the tattoos and the weird hair and always never shaved stubble. Yeah. Was he any good? I don't think I thought he was like average, like a Jag almost.
I thought he was a little bit above a Jag. I remember like liking him from like the FCW shows I would go to.
Okay.
And I thought he had some potential, but then had all the concussion issues.
Oh, I thought it was a neck for back or something, but okay, concussions. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be right back with the current edition of NXT.
It is time.
It's time.
Tonight.
It is
time.
Oh, word. What time of year is that?
For the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic.
Welcome back. We're going to hit you with this week's edition of NXT. I can't remember the number. Do you have the number on hand by any chance, Jeremy?
I don't have the number. I just have the date.
Okay, well, anyway, it was the March 8th, 2019 edition of the NXT. They lay out the card for, or lay out the bracket for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And then we end up starting off with the match of Ricochet and Aleister Black versus is it the European Union?
Yeah, European Union, Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel.
Yeah. Yeah, so we end up getting a back and forth match, a lot of striking, a lot of big moves, and this match is really good, but you kind of knew what was going to happen. Like, that the champions, the former champions, are going to go over them. It was a great match, though. Like, I think that this is one of my favorite matches in NXT, but yeah. Back and forth action, non-stop action. But at the end, Black ends up winning with the black mass, the spinning back fist, sending back kick, roundhouse kick of justice.
Yeah, and it came out. Excuse me, it came out of nowhere because like Fabian Eichner was like on the attack, and then
They were trading.
yeah, they were trading blows, and like Eichner fired up, and then Black just bam, black mass, put him away. Yeah, this was a really great match. I mean, this was a sprint. This was an 8-minute sprint from these guys, and they just went out here and just went balls to the wall. And I think it kind of, made Gabe Sapolsky look good because, Gabe had Fabian Eichner as the Evolved champion a few months ago, and a lot of people were complaining, like, why did he pick Eichner? And I think Eichner showed a lot in this match.
I did not know that, but yeah, I remember Rich. I want to say about like maybe like 6-7 weeks ago, he was saying something about like he was saying like Eichner's not, kind of like the thing with Dijakovic before, like a month ago. It's like he's not really, or before Royal Rumble. It's just like
right. They had the training wheels on him.
Yeah, the full training wheel offense. They out here running the veer offense, running veer option, and then all of a sudden they say, you know what? We're gonna come out here and shotgun 4 receivers, and we're just gonna throw it down the field. And so I want to say. Probably like the week after the UK takeover, they had a match on I think the week after, Eichner and Bartel, and it was like, oh, all the training wheels are off, and that was my first time seeing this. I was like, I don't know what to tell you, Rich. Like this dude's raw, and then he's came along on it. He's now starting to see that like they're starting to get done with that foolishness, like. They need to stop doing that. Like, you come in and be unimpressive. Like, what's the point?
Well, the weird thing is, like, so his CWC match was Raw. Like, he was doing all the Raw stuff. And
he was in the CWC?
Yeah, that was his debut in the Cruiserweight Classic.
Huh.
And he was Raw in that tournament, and he got eliminated, like, in the first round. And I was like, man, this guy's good. And then, like, you start seeing him on the Largo Loop and on, like, a TV as a jobber, and then he's just, like, doing the basic PC training wheel stuff on. You're like, man, what happened to all that Raw stuff we saw in the tournament? And then finally, like, he goes to Evolve. He beats Shane Strickland in, like, a 4-star match. He's having all these, like, 3.75 4-star matches in Evolve. And then he's back in NXT and NXT UK. And they're like, all right, you're ready. Like, we'll take the training wheels off. Like, be Raw.
Okay. So, the Suns, it's after that we get the Forgotten Sons and
Only Lurkin and Jenny Birch.
I forgot. After this match, we get a recap of the awesomeness that was Lee versus Dijakovic last week, and they end up showing that they had some type of confrontation in the PC, and they're working out matches or working out in some holds and stuff. Lee is with some other guys. Like Gulak and I think Bugenhagen, and then all of a sudden, I'm gonna call him Dijak. I can't do Dijakovic. Yeah. He's Dijak. Whatever. Yeah. Dijak comes out and says, "You want to finish what we started?" And then there's a pull apart. They're kept away from each other, and then they say that in I think it's either 2 or 3 weeks, you get Dijak Lee 2 Electric Boogaloo. If they get if they get a main event slot on the end of an hour or like last 20 minutes of an NXT, look out! It's gonna be nuts. I already know it.
I have a feeling that they might do like another like double finish, and then they do something big at Takeover.
That's what they should do now.
Yeah.
Now that this 18-20 month thing that we built up. Culminated in motherfucking at the WrestleMania weekend is just up in smoke now. Then I've seen people suggest do a tournament on short notice or just do a ladder match. And if they go with ladder match route, that'll take a lot of guys up. But then you can always just do, Rodan versus freaking Mothra. So like, just go out there and have a kaiju battle. So that's a possibility. I mean, that would be the tiebreaker or whatever. You do another. I mean, what can they do? Double count out, or can double down to 10?
Yeah, double down 10. Like they can do like the superplex spot. They could break the ring.
Break the ring? Oh, NXT. Yeah, you know what? Book that. that. Think all the times we think, like, you know, somebody in the booking committee has heard us and suggested this and it got through. Like, listen to this one. Do this.
Yeah. You have Dijak go up there and superplex Keith Lee and just boom, ring breakdown.
Yeah. So then we come out. We get the Forgotten Sons versus Lorcan and Birch. So the Sons of Anarchy. I call them the Sons of Anarchy. The Forgotten Sons, they get the heat on Lorcan and then start making some quick tags and start laying into him with double team moves. They end up working over his back really badly. It gets progressively worse and worse. And then finally he's able to tag into Danny. He ends up cleaning up house with some German suplexes, and then he delivers his missile drop kick that he always does and nips up. Lorcan during this short, quick, clearing of the ring from Burge is on the apron, just selling his back like he's in misery. So he ends up tagging him back in, and then it's a spot where they go for their finish, the basically like the spike DDT off the shoulders, and Oni can't. It's done. So Danny's basically out there for himself for a while until finally they get the heat on him, and then finally Lorcan unleashes like what is maybe the best hot tag in all of WWE right now going, where he just like goes nuts, chops the shit out of people, just what we. Basically, he's Pocket Cesaro. That's the best way I can explain it. He's Pocket Cesaro going nuts. It does a double blockbuster. His
hot tag is pretty much show the crowd why you were in PWG.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and then from there he goes nuts, and then they cut him off, and then they end up hitting him with, I can't remember what they hit him with, but that finishes him. I think it was.
So they do that like reverse DDT stomp combo.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah. And ended up getting the win. And I was surprised because, like, Riker or Gunner, whichever one, like, they never... I thought he was going to interfere, but it's like, no, we're saving that for next round. Like, we can't just have them just cheat their way all the way through the tournament.
I was very surprised that the Forgotten Sons won and that they won clean. I mean, Lorcan and Birch have been a consistently kind of, like, undercard push team.
Yeah,
they're appeared on both NXT and NXT UK. They had an awesome match for Undisputed Era.
Right.
You'd figure they'd move those guys up, but I guess they want to give Forgotten Sons a chance. So,
yeah, and another thing about them is they had a redemption story arc where they had the matches of their lives, but in the middle, Lorcan goes down because he broke his face. He's back now. They end up shooting promos when he first came back, saying that like we're going to finish what we started. And like I remember at the time when it happened, I was like, I care more about these guys after watching them have one match and them coming out and doing one like vignette for the comeback, like for them going after these NXT titles, and I care about a single fucker on the Raw Tag Team division at the time, and I still feel that way about them. Like I thought they were going to do a Street Profits and them feud a few weeks ago, leading towards like one of them becomes the next contender, but we end up getting the Dusty, so we can shoot an angle to get towards what ended up going in smoke, but whatever. After the match we end up getting Velveteen Dream. He comes out and he talks about how awesome he is because he is awesome. And then all of a sudden Riddle comes out. He says he wants to look. He came out here to get a close look at the title. And then and then Velveteen stuck the belt out and shook it in front of him like, "Here are you annoying ass. Now go away. Now that you see it, you can go." It was almost like siblings. Like, I want some. Damn, you always begging. Here, take it.
Right. But then Riddle was like, "Oh, and congratulations!" And then Drew was like, "Okay, you can stay out here. Like, keep putting me over." Okay,
I missed that part. I was too busy laughing at him, being like, "Here with your begging ass." So then Riddle says, "I think it look good around my waist." And then From there, the crowd's oohing and awing, thinking about the options that would be Riddle versus Velveteen. And Velveteen says something and then turns it into a catchphrase about a spotlight. He snaps his fingers on top of the announce table, and there's a spotlight. So he ends up winning the back and forth because he's stunned on with a spotlight. I mean, look, I don't make the rules, but them's the rules. If somebody comes out here with a pre-packaged gimmick and you fall into the booby trap and he uses it on you, I'm sorry, you lost. You just gotta, that doesn't mean you can't, win the match or win the title, but you lost this one. You just got to walk back there with your head held in shame.
Yeah, and Velveteen was like, "You are not my bro."
Yes. It was. Do you remember the James Baldwin like "I am not your Negro"? That was almost like "I am not your bro." Nah, bro, we not doing this. So.
Also, he said you must be on cloud 9.
Yeah, the weed.
Yeah,
Stay off
the weed.
Yeah, so then we get a sit down interview with Io and Kyrie, and they both build up the match with Io and Bianca for next week. Along the lines, Kyrie does mention that she too also still wants a shot at the women's title, but basically, it more or less says that it's Io's turn. Io then says, I'm the best, Ichiban, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, after her last year in Stardom and watching it on Stardom, kind of hard to argue that she's not the best female wrestler in the world. Kind of hard to argue against that. Really, yeah. So then from there we end up getting Mustache Mountain versus the Street Profits. Street Profits end up getting the heat early on Bait, and the 7 gets a hot tag, and then you already know what that means once he gets his hot tag. Like he immediate sell mode. Like I mean, well he got some he got some shots in, but then immediate sell mode.
Yeah.
So then Angelo ends up giving Bait a spine buster, and Montez ends up jumping super high for a frog splash. It looked like a finish. But I ended up getting kicking out. The match was good until that spot, and then it picked up a level. Bait was then lifted into the electric chair, and then 7 gave Ford a dragon suplex on the apron, and then to end up cutting him off. So then Bait executed a whole German suplex on Dawkins that just looked like he's the strongest small man in the world. Then he ends up tagging in Trent. Dawkins was put into a torture rack, and then Bait climbed the turnbuckles and jumped off with the flying knee, burning hammer combo. As it's happening, you see that Angelo goes up like just dead weighted him. Like it looked like Bait was, or sorry, it looked like 7 was like. It's like imagine watch somebody try to pull an oak tree out of the ground by themselves. Like he gets it up, and then like he's falling. He's like, "Hurry up, Tyler! Hurry up! Please jump! Please jump!" And he jumped in the McIntyre because he was falling down with him. Like either jump now or we botching the spot. And luckily it happened. So they end up getting a pin, and as it's happening, you see like not Bait, but 7 selling his back. So that's when I asked you like, is there any word on whether or not he pulled something? Because that looked bad.
Yeah, and like I haven't heard anything, but it could be possible he pulled something and was able to ice it or whatever. But yeah, because he literally came down like the perfect moment. Because he pretty much gave out at the right time.
Yes, it was a photo finish.
Yeah.
So we get Johnny Gargano and Dude versus Fish and O'Reilly. Gargano comes out, then Ciampa comes out. Both to their individual music, and then they end up hitting the old DIY music.
And
the crowd pops.
Yeah, crowd loses their mind. There are people up, clapping, so happy, jumping up and down. Like, yes, we get this DIY reunion.
Yes. So, they ended up, So anyway, DIY ended up shining early in the match. Gargano flew through the ropes and hit a tope on, and then Ciampa ended up hitting a backbreaker for a 2 count on O'Reilly. Gargano was on the apron and Fish ended up sweeping the leg. Gargano ended up busting his ass hard. Undisputed ended up working over Gargano to get more and more heat. They kept him just isolated. And then Gargano ended up delivering a tornado DDT, gets a separation. He ended up getting the tag. Fish tried to block the tag, but Ciampa sent him crashing to the ring steps. Ciampa tagged in and then went to work. He ends up dropping a Tower of London for a 2 count on O'Reilly. Ciampa ended up going for a series of rolling German suplexes. Gargano leapt off the apron with a dive. Ciampa ended up delivering a Blue Thunder Bomb for a near fall on O'Reilly. Gargano went for a slingshot spear, but O'Reilly ended up countered it and trapping him in the guillotine. Ciampa ended up making a save by breaking up the submission hold by pushing Fish over the top of it. O'Reilly and Gargano ended up trading some strikes and ended up going to a double down. I believe at one point during double down, Gargano hits O'Reilly and O'Reilly bounces off the bottom rope like Ambrose style, except through the bottom rope.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, he hit him. He bounced through the middle first, hit him back again, and he bounced through the middle.
That's right.
They doubled down with the James Boyd spot.
Yes, they did both hit each other at the same time with the same move. Yeah. So, let's see where I left off at. Okay. So, O'Reilly ends up tripping up Ciampa when he climbed up the turnbuckles. Fish gave Ciampa an avalanche Michinoku driver off the top. And it was a huge, and like, I saw how far they bounced off the mat together, and I thought, like, that might have been it. That might have been what happened. Why, like, this was a thing that he was trying to manage, and then all of a sudden it was a point of no return.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then Ciampa ends up kicking out of the pin attempt. O'Reilly transitions over to an armbar. Gargano ends up jumping in, making the save to break the hold. Then Ciampa spiked O'Reilly with the DDT, and then Gargano ended up hitting his DDT off of after slingshotting off the ropes, and then they ended up getting rid of Fish, and they ended up hitting they're meeting the middle finisher, and then they're victorious, moving to the next round. They're going to face Blackachet, and then the Warriors come out, and that's how they end the show. I thought that all 4 of these matches were over 3.5 stars.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is probably one of the best episodes of NXT. 4 quality matches. I mean, all these matches were really fun, and there's a lot of great wrestling from the beginning of this show to the end of this show. I thought the main event was absolutely great. Fish and O'Reilly picked back up where they left off together. However, though, in the back of my mind, I was wondering how this match have played out if it was Roderick Strong in there instead of Bobby Fish.
You know, honestly, after the conversation back and forth that me and Josh had, I want to say that was after Phoenix, NXT Takeover Phoenix.
Yeah.
I was watching the match. It's like, okay, when is it going to reach the Roddy and O'Reilly level? When is it going to get there? I'm still waiting. They're in there with DIY. I'm still waiting. and then the match picked up, and I was like, you know what? This is an acceptable level if the whole thing is they're trying to get to the Roddy and whatever level. Now, I would say this. I think that the striking that Roddy would have provided in this match would have gotten it hotter quicker. But it was still a good-ass match, and we're grading greatness on a curve, right? We're grading it on a curve of greatness, and they're both great. I just think that one is better than the other, and I don't know. Like, I got my matches to vouch for. I don't know what matches he got to vouch for.
But yeah, man.
That'll wrap it up. Oh, actually, so what do you think, man? Layout for next week, or in the weeks leading up to Takeover New York, or I'm calling it Brooklyn 5.
Yeah,
because I ain't gonna be in Brooklyn no time soon anyway. It's Brooklyn 5.
Right. So yeah, it's real interesting to see who's gonna move on in the brackets next. So we got Blackachet against DIY, right? Mm-hmm. Blackachet, they have a Raw tag title match this Sunday at Fastlane. and they're pretty much main roster now. So you got to think, with Gargano and Ciampa not being on Raw and SmackDown due to Ciampa's injury, how that taping plays out, like if they're going to end up continuing to push Blackachet as a team. And then I think we got, Forgotten Sons are going to go against Mustache Mountain, right?
Yes.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, are they really trying to give this Forgotten Son thing a chance, or are we just going to go back to, the greatness with Bait and Seven?
Yeah, like, are they going to dick around for a year with some shit that ain't going to work, or are they going to go back to greatness?
Yeah.
If this is WWE, if this is the main roster, I still think they still have the Jackson Riker card to play to cheat to get themselves to advance one spot. Like, I don't think they're just going to put him in there and then, like, never use him. Like, they're protecting the dude, so, like, they can't just have him just sit there like a schmuck throughout the whole tournament until they're eliminated. They have that card to play. So, they might end up screwing Mustache Mountain. They might just say, screw him, goodbye, go back to England.
I am very curious what they're going to do with Undisputed Era at Brooklyn. Because, they're always like a featured act on the card for pretty much every takeover. They're like the top, one of the hottest acts, the cool heels.
Yeah.
Like, what are one of those guys going to be doing on that show?
Well, I mean, when Roddy and O'Reilly were a team, they were always featured. Always. Even when Adam Cole missed a couple of takeovers. Now, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see now what's going to happen with the NXT title picture. We have, I believe, next week they'll be doing the last set of tapings before WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll find out if they're going to try and do a quick tournament, or they're going to do a battle royal, or a ladder match, or something. I don't know. I guess we'll find out and see. But what would you do for the NXT title match?
I mean, now that it's open to everybody, honestly, okay, so for me, it's like, all right, we haven't seen Johnny on TV TV wrestling in 2 weeks. So that means that he's done on the main roster, at least for now, until they figure out something else for him to do, or until Tommaso comes back. So you may as well leave him in NXT, let him still be the top guy in NXT. There's still more matches for him to have. He can have matches with Riddle. He can have matches with Adam Cole. They haven't done that yet. He hasn't done anything with Dunn. They can fly him in if he's supposed to lose the belt to drop the belt to Walter, and he can move on to the mainstream thing, or to the domestic domestic NXT. Like, there's still that. There's still like a year worth of stuff for him to do. There's still Keith Lee that they can elevate, Dijakovic, all that. I heard a rumor that they're thinking of moving him to 205, which is the dreaded nightmare. Honestly, since that 5-star match with Almas, and people thought like he could be the next guy because look at his match and look how much the crowd loves him and look how great of a babyface he is. That's always been the worry. Like, he's too small. They're gonna move him, and he had a shot, but his shot just is about to sit on the operating table. So if you told me it's either 205 Live or stay your ass in NXT, stay your ass in NXT.
Yeah, I think Gargano's definitely a guy that could put the NXT belt on and swing him back babyface, and he could be the top babyface in the territory with the NXT title, main eventing house shows. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely find a way to have Gargano. I mean, they're already kind of going Gargano Ciampa, so I would keep Gargano in the main event and then put him against a heel.
Yeah, I mean, and the thought on that is like there'll be Adam Cole, and I'm just like, I mean, Adam Cole just got a healthy scratch on the takeover last takeover. Like, now he's gonna get a title shot. I mean, and it's on 3 weeks' notice. At least like when they did that with Johnny from War Games to the first War Games to Philly, like he went through a number of people to get that title shot. Like, didn't he? Was it a gauntlet or was it a battle royal? Or no, not a battle royal. It was either like a tournament or it was a gauntlet he went through to get that title match.
Yeah, he got a lot of wins going into that.
So I mean, I don't know. Like it's short 3 weeks. I mean, they can do the tournament. I don't think it'd be the best thing in the world to just be beating people like that.
Right.
Unless you can tell storylines and the reason why certain people get beat, which is the point of a tournament. But WWE doesn't like do that with tournaments.
Well, NXT is more of a tournament-based kind of thing they do.
It absolutely is. I mean, that's why the Dusty Classics worked the 3 times they've done it.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be opposed against the ladder match because, like you said, that opens up the card to do possibly a Keith Lee and Dijak match. You could have a
and you ain't got to pin nobody. Either.
Right. And you could do a secondary women's match. I mean, you could have Bayley and Sasha go back to back, have them defend the belts at TakeOver and WrestleMania.
They could. It kind of. They could. It kind of. If they were to tell the story that whoever they're facing at WrestleMania can play a role into, or could possibly play a role into like interfering in their TakeOver match, then I could say that'd be cool. But like, if they just do it, and it's like, oh yeah, like Sky Pirates, like y'all are just cannon fodder to get whooped out here, in like a 4.5 star match or a 4-star match. And then you go out there and place like Trish and Lita or the Bellas, and you go out there and have a good old 2-star match the next night. It looks too good for the main roster. I mean, they could do it. I mean, who cares? I mean, if they're going to be back on NXT, then they may as well wrestle the best.
Right, and then we already have the Pete Dunne and Walter match locked in as well. Right.
So that does kind of help them and free them up, because if this were just like, nah, y'all got to throw everybody. Like you just lost Ciampa Gargano, and now you have to like fill out the rest of the card, and that would hurt. But I mean, there's still things they could do.
Right. I mean, potentially they could do another NXT UK match, maybe a women's match, or the NXT UK tag titles with Gibson and
Mustache.
Yeah.
Gibson and what's his name? James. Is it James or is it Blake, or I can't remember his name. I always forget. He has long hair.
Yeah. He doesn't talk. It's pretty much Gibson's like the main guy on the team, the grizzled young vets.
I know. Like I heard that they were trying to make this the greatest takeover ever. So I don't know. Like it's too soon for Riddle.
Yeah. Well, it seems like they're going to do him and Velveteen for the North American.
Right. But I mean, they also teased
James Drake is his name.
That's right. So then, but they also like at TakeOver or after TakeOver, immediately after when they also did the halftime Heat thing, they were also teased like Cole versus Velveteen as well. So like maybe they were going in one of the two directions, or maybe it was a 3-way. Who knows? But at this point, you just left like whatever it is, it ain't gonna be nearly as as built towards or as emotional as what would have been that.
Right.
So,
and there's also some of the new guys they've been signed too. ACH is in the PC right now.
Right.
Trevor Lee, like they pull some of those guys out and do something with them.
Well, don't you think that would be how does it normally go? Don't they normally do the oh my God, it's Matt Riddle / Samoa Joe or whoever else sitting ringside, and then they show up at the PC, or do they normally do PC and then that?
Normally they do. Normally they actually show up at the PC first.
Okay.
And then they show up in the crowd if they're going to put them on TV.
Okay.
Soon.
Yeah, so that might be it. Like, I remember they did it with McIntyre too. I think that might be a situation where I don't know if those guys are going to be brought in that fast. Like, that's a lot. Like, if that's the case, you might as well just go with Riddle Gargano then.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, yeah. Saw with the shit, man. Saw with the shit. So, that'll conclude this week's edition of NXT Then Now Forever on a bummer. Sorry, guys. We'll be back for you next week. Jeremy, you want to get some plugs?
Yeah, so you can follow us at Social Suplex on Facebook.com/Social Suplex. Also, we're in the Wrestling Squared Circle group, Facebook.com/group/Wrestling Squared Circle. You can check out all the other shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. On Sundays, we have One Nation Radio. On Mondays until April 1st, we'll have the Omega Luke podcast. Tuesdays, you have my show, Keeping It Strong Style, me and the young boy covering New Japan. On Wednesdays, you have Ricky and Clive. And on Thursdays, we have Grown Men Watch This Shit, covering independent wrestling. And then you're already listening to our Friday show, NXT Then, Now, and Forever. And then on Saturday, we have All Things Elite with Floyd Johnson Jr. covering AEW.
Yeah, man. So I was going to actually let you off the line, and I was going to come back and do all of that as far as the lineup. But since you want to do it, go ahead. Like, do you also want to plug since you're here, you also want to plug Suplex Mania?
Oh yeah. So April 7th, we'll be in New York, and we'll be hosting our first ever live podcast event called Suplex Mania at the original Hooters right across from Madison Square Garden. It's going to be starting at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be doing a live podcast and some giveaway stuff. And then at 7, we'll be streaming WrestleMania at the restaurant. So come out if you're in the New York area and you are not going to WrestleMania like us, but you still want to watch it. Come on down and have some wings with us, some drinks. So we'll be some pitcher specials and bucket specials on beer. Come on out. We're working on trying to get some other guests. We have a lot of relationships with other podcast networks and other wrestlers, so you never know who might end up showing up. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a great time, and hopefully we can pull off a great event, because WrestleMania next year will be in our home city of Tampa, Florida, and we would definitely love to do Suplex Mania 2 here. So come on out and support.
And I will be spending the rest of my year trying to campaign to get Kairi Sane onto the main roster for WrestleMania 36, so that we can fulfill the prophecy that is Kairi Sane walking the plank with the Buccaneers pirate ship, Argmady, all of that. I think I might actually, if I know that she's going to be in that, I think I would actually attend a WrestleMania to see that. Yeah, but
do you think Shane McMahon's going to try and jump off the pirate ship?
I don't know. We gotta like stop taking for granted that Shane McMahon's gonna be alive every like WrestleMania. Like, eventually he's gonna jump off some and he ain't gonna get up. He keep it up at this rate.
Yeah,
he must stop. But yeah, that'll wrap it up. Thanks for listening. Later.